Good morning, my friends. Hey, this is Rob Rosa. Hopefully, your favorite real estate broker. All right, what do we got here? We got Tuesday, September 16th, 2 days after my birthday. Well, first of all, I do have to tell everyone, hey, thank you so much for the awesome, incredible, amazing birthday wishes. You all definitely made my day. And even with all the special things that my family, especially my wife, did for my birthday, with all that good food down here, right? What's it doing? Well, guess what I'm doing? I have some late morning appointments. And I'm even teaching the real estate class this morning at 10 a.m. But I figured, let me get on the road. Let me walk to the gym really quick, right? Do a little bit of a quick workout. And then be able to get back in time for the real estate class and be able to do what we need to do. So, for those of you that are watching, right, we have plenty of items to discuss. There's a lot going on, as you know. There's always a lot going on with me. I'm not holding back, right? But if you have something specific that you wanted to talk about, you are more than welcome to bring it up. Put your comments in there. One of the things that I've been working on, I got it this morning, was up about 5-ish. Well, 5:27, I think was the number, right? I think it was a 5:27 a.m. awakening, and sat down and did what I needed to do as far as having some lemon in some water and say a few prayers, and then got back down to business on the old computer, right? And so one of the things that I'm doing is I have a few different off-market listings, right? So I have a few properties where maybe the seller has said, hey, Rob, if you can find me a buyer, I don't want to put it on the MLS. I'm not ready for that. I'm not in the mood for a bunch of showings. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But if you find me a buyer at this particular price range, I'll probably go for it, or I'll seriously think about it. So with that in mind, I'm putting it out there to the group, to my friends, to my Facebook friends, to my Instagram friends, to my LinkedIn friends, to my TikTok friends, right? To my X friends. Well, not X like EX, but instead of Twitter, right? So I'm putting it out there to say, hey, first of all, I have a pretty good portfolio of these off-market listings. So if you are an interested cash buyer, right? Interested cash buyer that can move quick, right? We're not talking about one of these baloney things like, well, Rob, I can get the financing. It's going to take me a month. No. These are not sellers that want to wait a month, especially if you're looking for a discounted price, right? If you want this seller to wait a month, well, they might as well just put it on the MLS, my friends, right? I mean, that's how it really kind of goes. But if maybe you're looking for one of these discounted prices, then you got to be ready to move quick. You got to be able to close quick. So we got that going for us. If you have a property that you're thinking about selling, you don't want to deal with any of that, all you got to do is let me know. Hey, Gina, it's good to see you. Love your husband. He's awesome. Right? So make sure you please tell him that I said hello. But we're really just kind of talking about some basic things here today, right? We're talking about how crazy we can mention, and I'll bring it up, we can mention how crazy this world is these days. And so what are we doing every day to bring joy, love, happiness into this world, right? So that's one of the things that I put out there to encourage people is to, when you're feeling a certain way, maybe you feel like you're being judged. Maybe you feel like, oh, this is just not right and I'm sick and tired of it, right? And so some of those feelings, hey, they're okay to have, right? I mean, if that's your feelings, who's to say, well, I'm not going to fight those feelings, but I am going to tell you and encourage you that when you get some of these feelings, you take a step back, take a deep breath, and really think about I think I lost y'all for a second. Oh, man. Anyways, we were talking about some of these things that are going on in this world, and we said, hey, listen, let's talk about what is it that we need to do to share love, right? To share kindness, even with someone that you don't agree with. And I don't care what side of the coin you want to be on. I don't care what political party and all that baloney. But can you show a little bit of kindness, right? Can you take things to the next level and say, hey, listen, I'm not coming right back at you with hate. I want to show some gentleness. I want to show that I am a human being and that I care about other human beings. Because if you're out there going off the wall with some of these comments that we see, and people are just looking at you like, all right, so they have these strong views and that's cool. Maybe they feel frightened about their views. You know, they feel like someone's going to somehow take away their rights or their view or what their feelings are all about or their lifestyle. Well, that's probably not going to happen. But we can show others peace, love, kindness. We can chill out a little bit, right? We can stop spreading hate, spewing out evil, spewing out gossiping. So that's kind of my encouragement for you today. This has been like a really weird kind of live, because during this live, I got about 4 phone calls. So that was kind of messing me up. I started talking about real estate investing and how I woke up early, and somebody drove by me and beeped, got off track on that. And then we went right over to like talking about love and kindness and that sort of thing. But it's still an awesome walk, right? I got to pick up the pace a little bit so that I can get to that gym, do a little bit of lifting, and then get back in time for the real estate class at 10 a.m. Maybe you know somebody that wants to join the class. That's available to you, right? That's something that here in the state of Connecticut, we're an approved school for the real estate pre-licensing class. And really the way that it works is that in order for someone to sit for the state exam, right, they have to go to an approved school. So we've been approved since 2008. My wife helped me put the class together. So 2008, what are we talking, like 17 years we've been approved by the state of Connecticut, thank God. And so right now, the latest rules are that you have to pay for the class, but you have to put in 60 hours, right? You have to put in 60 hours in an approved pre-licensing school. Now, once you put in those 60 hours and pass my class final, then I can give you the pre-licensing certificate. And then once you get that pre-licensing certificate, then what you do is you apply with the state to get approved to take the state exam. Once you get approved to take the state exam, then you can apply to take the state exam. And all the classes have to be either live or live virtual, right? So right now, since 2020, since the good old days of 2020, we have been at live virtual in Zoom. And I was told that one time we were one of the first schools to get on Zoom that quick, right? So we made that happen really, really quick. And it's been a good 4.5, 5 years now. Well, I guess it's been a solid 5 years that we've been on Zoom. And I can tell you, it's really been working out pretty awesome. And for those of you that have your doubts, I can tell you it's straight up the truth that it's better. And you might be like, oh no, Rob, I'm a people person. I like to be with people. I don't like this whole Zoom, computer, phone thing. Right? Well, I'm a people person. You see here, I'm on here every day. I'm with people. Right? You're good people. I'm good people. But think about it this way. When you're in person, somebody walks in late. People are looking out the window. People are getting up to use the restroom. You know, when you're in person with people at a big classroom, there's always 2 or 3 people in the back corner having their own little conversation. And there's a lot of distractions. Now, with Zoom, are there some distractions? Yes. But in my opinion, it's a lot less distractions, my friends. Because people can mute themselves if all of a sudden the room that they're in gets a little noisy, right? If someone needs to go use the restroom, they can message me on chat and be like, hey, I'll be right back, just going to use the restroom. And nobody else knows about it or cares about it or hears about it. If someone comes in late, most of the time people don't get bothered by it. They don't get notified of it. If someone has to leave early, right? Someone has to leave early, basically, they can just drop me a chat and say, hey, Rob, I apologize, I gotta leave a little bit early. So it seems to be a lot less distractions. We can share, like we share the pages where we're at. We're able to review the books live, the information live. We're able to answer questions live. There's a live instructor. So you see, when it comes down to it, it's not that bad. All right, my friends, I'm almost there, but not yet, okay? So if you have any questions, you want to talk about anything in particular, just let me know. Now, just to tell you a little bit about a couple of the properties that I have that I'm working on right now, might be something that you're really interested in. I have an absolutely gorgeous, totally remodeled. You're talking about quartz countertops, right? Let me start from the outside, actually. So this home in South Windsor has a garage underneath, and then it has a detached, oversized 2-car garage. This home in South Windsor on Smith is set back. It's in a very, very private neighborhood. In fact, it's on a cul-de-sac, or a cul-de-sac, is that how you'd say cul-de-sac? Right, it's on a cul-de-sac that would be, if you walk to the end of it, you'd be able to go right to Evergreen, right? Like you can actually walk, right? You can actually walk to Evergreen. So that might be something that interests you. You actually have the opportunity to build an ADU. So for those of you that don't know, right? An ADU is an accessory dwelling unit. It's almost like having a second little house, like a guest house. Now, most towns, including South Windsor, and your insurance company, they will not want you renting out this ADU. Hey, Iris, thank you so much for watching. They will not want you renting out this ADU, accessory dwelling unit, but you can have a family member stay there, right? You can have your children living in there, you know, your adult children, because it's a separate unit if you want to. You could build another 1,200 square foot, 1,200 square foot. Of course, you got to double check with the town, but you can build a second guest house on this particular land. Right now, when you walk into this home, it's all on one living level, right? It's a ranch home. Okay, you have balconies in the front. So you walk in, and on the left-hand side, you have a beautiful kitchen, quartz countertops, tile backsplash, stainless steel appliances, right? Beautiful, all beautiful new flooring. You have a dining room area. You have two different fireplaces, right? You have a fireplace in the living room. Hey, Victor, thank you so much for watching. And you have a fireplace in the lower level because the lower level is finished. So what we're doing right now, basically, I'm just kind of reviewing a ranch home that I have on Smith Street in South Windsor. So if you want to know more about that, all you have to do is direct message me. It has its own master bedroom suite, has 2 full baths. Everything's been remodeled. So if you want a brand new kitchen, you got it. You want a brand new bathroom, you got it. All right. So that's available for you. I have 2 homes that have been slightly renovated in New Britain, one on Tremont and one on Clark. And these are homes that are listed somewhere in the $250 price range. So if you need a starter home, maybe you know somebody that wants a starter home, this might be perfect for you. All right, this might be one that's available for you that you can take a look at. But guess what, my friends? It looks like I'm not going to the gym today. And the reason why, it looks like they're putting all new equipment here. I didn't plan this, but I think that they did, right? And it's kind of cool here. So if you see behind me, right, here we go. So it's not opening up, right? Let me do a little flip here, right? It's not opening up until 6 o'clock this evening. The new Planet Fitness. Hey, all right, that's all right. I'll be back. Right, so it looks like my Planet Fitness here is putting in all new equipment, so I'm going to be psyched about it. I don't know. I hope everybody's going to be ready for me this over the fall and winter time, because it looks like I might be jacked up with all this brand new workout equipment. All right. Well, we can take a break from working out today. I don't know if I'm supposed to be happy or not, but I'm still happy. Right? I'm still happy that I don't have to go in that gym and do some working out. I can just keep getting my steps in. So this is definitely going to be a day where I'm going to have to focus on my 20,000 steps. So most of the days when I work out, or even when I don't work out, because I don't work out every single day. I mean, come on, if you see me in person, you're going to be like, this dude doesn't even work out. Right? But I try to get in there 3 times a week, do a little bit of something, and steps a day. So the days out, right? The days that I don't work out, that I really try to get things to the next level, I try to go for 20,000 steps instead of the 10,000 steps. So I guess, since we're not getting in there on that Planet Fitness today, we're going to have to go for the 20,000 steps. All right. Well, we talked about that house that I have in South Windsor for sale, how beautiful it is, how much has been remodeled right down, in many cases, right down to the studs, how it has a lower level, right? Hey, Jaja, thank you for watching, right? We go right down to the lower level, and it's all refinished and all that good stuff. Hi, babe. Yeah, the gym is closed. I don't know, I just left over there. They're putting all new equipment. Man, thank God we got these young guys that want to make sure that we have good hearing, because I don't know if they like to punch holes in their mufflers, or they like to just put on or take off the muffler or put some special part, right? Isn't that so cool, right? That you actually spend a bunch of money to buy a part to make your car sound louder. But it seems like we got a lot of those people around me these days. I don't know. It's never something that I want to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was young, I liked to have a cool sounding car. I had that Mustang GT, right? Had that Thunderbird turbo coupe back in the day. But never really changed the exhaust to make it sound actually louder, right? So, as we were talking about, so I have those 2 homes for sale in New Britain, right? So, got one on Clark Street, right? One on Tremont. And so, if you're looking for a starter home, or you know somebody that wants to have a starter home, that might be perfect for you. All right. What else do we have on the market? Well, we have 3 multifamilies. What do you mean you're going shopping, Jaja? What is this? All of a sudden, is this like a phone call here now? I'm going shopping. Hey, we're on a tight budget. I need everybody to know that. We're on a tight budget. And that doesn't mean we can just go willy-nilly, spending all kinds of money. In fact, let's talk about getting... Hey, Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate you watching. We were talking about homes that I have in the market. So a home that Matt might be familiar with in Berlin, I have available on the market. Now, this home is in an absolutely gorgeous neighborhood, right? When you're looking for a location, it's okay, Jaja, don't cry. You can go shopping, but don't spend more than $22. All right. 23. Let's get crazy. You can go up to $23 today. All right, tight budget. But anyways, this home in Berlin might be the home for you. When we talk about location, the location is absolutely perfect. It's in a neighborhood that if you have children, or you want to entertain family, friends, you want to feel comfortable, right? You want to be able to go Christmas caroling, whatever it might be. This is the neighborhood for you. All right, so what is it about this home that you will love? Well, first of all, the home is huge, okay? You have an oversized 2-car garage, and each garage is separated, right? Has a separation wall, right? So that's good. So if you have like, maybe you're parking a car and you don't want somebody to go into the other garage. Maybe you have a classic car and you want to make sure no one can get into that other garage to scratch it. I remember years ago, I'm not going to mention which one of the triplets, but years ago, the triplets were riding their little bikes. And, I didn't have that separate wall. And their bike just hit the side of my Mustang. And believe me, I was not happy about it. But anyway, so this house has oversized 2-car garage, right? It is a raised ranch. And what's really nice about it is that the lower level, you have a second kitchenette, right? You have a kitchenette downstairs. You have a separate bathroom downstairs. You have downstairs in the lower level, You also have brand new mechanicals, right? So I think the hot water heater is about 2-3 years old, and the boiler is newer. I mean, it's only been maybe a few months old. You have, when you walk upstairs, right, as far as the Raised Ranch goes, because Raised Ranch, you walk in, you got about 4 steps going down and 4 steps going up. So everything is open. And who doesn't love open space living, right? Everybody loves open space living these days. Come on. So you have a very big open living room with hardwood floors that leads into the dining room. And the dining room has sliders that lead out to an enclosed porch, right? So you have so much living area in this house. I cannot explain how much you really have. You also have, you walk through the kitchen. Kitchen is about, average size for a Raised Ranch home. But you also have 2 full baths, because what they did, and you have 4 bedrooms. What they did is they took the space above the huge 2-car garage, right, and made that into a master bedroom suite. Or, we're supposed to say, because I don't want to offend anybody, I want to be kind, right? We're supposed to say primary bedroom suite. I don't know, the master part things that people think is like too much like a male thing. So whatever the female word is for master, I don't know. But anyways, primary bedroom suite. Okay? And in this primary bedroom suite, you have a huge bedroom. I mean, the thing's got to be over 15 by 15, right? And it has a huge bay window. So if you want plenty of natural sunlight in your bedroom, when you wake up in the morning, which I do, because I'm that person, and I might be annoying to you. Hey, what can I tell you? But I wake up, I'm like, hey, let's go, come on. And even though I might not say it out loud, that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I made another day, and I'm psyched, and I'm gonna rock and roll, and I'm gonna help a lot of people. That's what I like to do. Right? So anyways, if you wake up in the morning, you want that natural sunlight, you have it on that bay window in this house in Berlin. If you don't want a lot of natural sunlight, then what can I tell you? I guess you need to put up some blinds. That's all. Not the worst thing in the world. Okay? And then the full bathroom, you have in that primary bedroom suite, you have a walk-in dressing room. Hey, Diane, what up, cuz? Right, thank you so much for watching. We're talking about a home that I have for sale in Berlin, right, where it has a huge walk-in dressing room. And then it also has a very large dual sinks. I know what you thought I was going to say. You thought I was going to say dual exhaust. Right? I know everybody thought that's what I was going to say, but I wasn't saying dual exhaust. Dual sinks. And then you have a stand-up shower in there, and you have a huge space for a hot tub. The previous hot tub has been removed, but you do have a huge space for a hot tub in there. All right? Now, outside of this home's in good condition exterior-wise, right? Outside of this home exterior, there's a deck, right, that overlooks the whole yard. It's beautiful deck in the back, and partially fenced in yard. So I think that means 1, 2, 3. I think we have 3, definitely 2, and I think one of the sides is all shrubs and bushes. But I'm going to say 2 or 3 fences, 2 or 3 sides are fenced. And then one of the sides is not fenced. So that's why we say partially fenced in yard. But the home is beautiful. It does there's a little bit of TLC that's needed there. But I think once you go in there and you see the bones of it, right, you see the potential of it, you see that you can make it your own, It's an absolutely gorgeous home. So we have that going for us. All right. Anyone have any real estate questions or any comments or anything right now? As we're going on our walk, we're focusing on getting these 20,000 steps in today, getting pumped up for teaching the real estate class, right? And then I need to go show a couple of industrial units. So let's talk about commercial. Yes, I do commercial, right? I have a gas station for sale on Darlin Street. It's the corner of Darlin and Pitkin Street in East Hartford. Now, we've had that thing under deposit a couple times, and the only reason why it fell apart is because the first time the person couldn't get financing, and the second time, right, it seems as though this buyer has ghosted us. So I don't want to get into all of that story, but it's available. And the seller here in East Hartford, this gas station, he just adjusted the asking price to $1.75 million. Yup, I know what you're saying. That's it? Only $1.75 million for that gas station? I know it's incredible. It's a great deal. And I'm not being sarcastic, and this is why. You can reach out to anyone in local government or the Economic Development Resource Center here in Connecticut or in East Hartford, right? And know that it seems like this Founders Plaza redevelopment is for real. And when it comes to fruition, right, they've already started knocking down things. They've already started taking possession over properties. When it comes to fruition, how's that word for you, huh? That's Catholic school word right there, fruition. When it comes to fruition, that property's going to be worth a lot more. Now, because of the previous buyer, the seller has really slowed down the operations, because that's what that previous buyer wanted, right? And so maybe it was not the best thing to do, but we went along with what this previous buyer wanted, because we do have a very hefty deposit. All right. So there were 2 bays that were doing car repairs. Those 2 bays have been closed, right? The person who was doing the car repairs has moved on to something else. They were renting out U-Hauls. They stopped those operations. Okay, of course they got the gas pump still running, but and they were leasing out some spaces for like trucks and so forth. So this parcel of land is huge, right on the corner of Darlin and Pitkin. And in fact, you can even put a sign on this property that people can see from 84. So if you know what I'm talking about, when we talk about the Founders Bridge, right, where if you're coming from Hartford and you go over the Founders Bridge into East Hartford, and you're going down, let's say you're going to get on Route 2 or whatever it might be, or you're going to get on 84, because that's the different ramps you have, or you're even going to get off the highway. But anyways, you'll be able to see a sign for that property right there. So if you're someone that's watching this and you know a contact for Cumberland Farms, for Racetrack, I think it's called Racetrack. How about Wawa's? Now, we remember in East Hartford, we had a Wawa, but it wasn't the huge Wawa that they have now. See, down in Florida, right, I know of these huge Wawas with all the gas pumps, and then they sell all kinds of food in there and so forth. We can put one of those right there. right? How about a Buc-ee's? You know, let's get somebody from Buc-ee's. Hey, Angela, someone from Buc-ee's. This can be the first Buc-ee's in Connecticut, right? Probably in New England. But once again, if you're down south, you know about Racetrack. Huge places with plenty of pumps. This spot would be great for it. Buc-ee's, this spot would be great for it. Wawa's, this spot would be great for it. Cumberland Farms, right? This spot would be great for it. So there's plenty of opportunities. Or maybe you knock the whole place down, you do something different. Maybe put a Chick-fil-A there. I don't know. But you're going to have this riverfront development, right? And so do people want gas stations? Maybe. But do people want restaurants? Easy, fast food type of stuff? Of course. Come on, you see how it's going with these Chick-fil-A's and Chipotle's. Everybody's going nuts. So, hey, maybe you know someone who knows someone, and you want to tell them about this spot, 131 Darling, that we have for sale, currently being used as a gas station, right on the riverfront economic development. And it's listed for $1.75 million. So we have that available. I also, which I'm going to be there later today, meeting with a company that does like water conditioning type of thing. But I have a couple of great commercial spaces in Middletown, Connecticut. Right? So these spaces are that you have, one is for lease and for sale. It's actually, which is something a little bit different that people aren't used to, it's a commercial condo, right? It's a commercial condominium. So one of the spaces is for rent and for lease. Okay, it's about 9,303 square feet. I think that's the number. Probably about 30-40% of it is office space, and the rest is warehouse space. You can use it for light assembly. You could use it for storage, dispatch. There's a couple of docks available, right? So that's available. And then we also, in the same complex, but a different unit, we have one about 5,000 square feet. That is about 60% office space, right? So that is available as well. I want to see something cool since we're walking over here. I want to show you something. I'm over here right on the East Hartford, South Windsor line. I know I've shown this probably before, but let's do it again because I always like to read this. I think it's pretty darn cool. Anybody ever heard of John Fitch? Right? You probably heard of John Fitch. Well, look at how cool that is. Birthplace 1743, John Fitch, inventor of the steamboat. The house stood a few rods east of this spot, erected by the Admiral Bunce section of the Navy League of the United States in 1914. How cool is that? All right, so right here I'm standing. You might be like, Rob, where are you? Right? And I can tell you very, very definitively that I was just standing at the birthplace of John Fitch. How cool is that, my friends? Right? So we're getting our steps in here this morning. We were talking about some of the properties that I have available for sale, for lease. Oh, one of the things I had mentioned earlier as well is that I actually have four multi-families on the market in East Hartford, right? And then I have a couple that are off market. So once again, as I said earlier in this live call, is that if you know someone that wants to particularly try to sell their property but not put it on the market necessarily, I could talk with them about it and talk with them about what they're exactly looking to do and how they want to do it, and see if I have a buyer that I can match up with them almost immediately. So that's one way in which we can help people. Another way is that if you're a cash buyer, maybe you're looking to do flips, right? Maybe you want to do some rehabs. Maybe it's your first time or it's your 20th time, but you are looking for some properties and you're a cash buyer. Just give me a call. Let's talk about it. Let's go over it. Let's review what it is that you are looking for, and then we can go from there. So that might be an opportunity for you as well. So when we're talking about these multifamily properties, okay, let's kind of go over, right, some of the basics of these multifamily properties. So the first one that I want to tell you about is a huge multi-family property. Yeah, so you see, even like right now, I'm not sure 100% if you were hearing me, because I got another phone call in. Sometimes this phone doesn't stop. Oh my God, it'll drive you crazy. Come on, what is it? You know, if somebody needs my help, I don't mind. I mean, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to answer the phone for somebody who needs my help. But these numbers from all over the country, and then I answer them, and they're like, hi, we got this new program that you want to invest in as the top real estate broker in the area, and it's only $2,130 a month. What do you think, Rob? Isn't that a great deal? And I'm like, man, is this how we're starting off? Right? I mean, there are a lot of programs out there, not to whine, because I know everybody has their own job and everybody has their own issues and things they need to work with. But come on, guys. When I first started real estate, if I had to spend $50 on a program, $100 on a program, $200 a month, I'd be like, oh my gosh, 20 something years ago. But now we're like $2,000 a month. I mean, if that thing isn't giving me a couple closings, then it can't be worth it. So anyways, we were talking about these multifamilies in East Hartford. Right, so when we talk about multifamilies in East Hartford, I have one that's pretty huge. It's on Bliss Street, 3-family. Right, a 3-family on Bliss Street. Has tons and tons and tons of renovations. Yup. Great condition, huge, 3 bedrooms each floor, and it's priced accordingly, right? So if that's something that you might be interested in, reach out to me, right? 860-558-2122, 860-558-2122. And then I have a cool opportunity. Right, and the only reason why the person's selling it is because they want to take their money and they want to look at properties overseas for them. But what it is, it's on Burnside Ave. Okay, now it's a 2-unit, but not really a 2-unit. So don't tune out on me. Okay, don't tune out. So the way that it works is that the first floor at one time, it was used as an insurance company and a real estate agent company office, right? And then it was changed to 3 bedrooms, right, on the first floor with a common area kitchen, common area living room, and 2 bathrooms. And so the owner, they rent out each bedroom for $800 a month. So just that one floor, right? And a lot of them pay by the week, right? So they pay by the week. You do weekly rentals, and that first floor is going to be able to get you $2,400. 2-4. I had a 3 up there. 2-4. $2,400 a month. Just the first floor, and then the second floor you can rent out for another $2,000. right? Second floor you can rent out for another $2,000 a month. So this property, maybe even 2,200, depending. Let's say 2,100, right? So this property, you can bring in $3,500 a month. That's not bad dough, right? That's like $42,000 a year gross. So, I mean, that's a part-time, that's for a lot of people, that's a full-time job, right? And that doesn't even include $42,000 a month gross. Now, that doesn't include the tax benefits. You know, are you working in a regular job at Aetna, Travelers, Pratt Whitney, UTC, whatever company it is, and you're getting your W-2 at the end of the year, right? And you're just paying all these taxes. Well, what would happen if you bought an investment property? I mean, I would be surprised if you have to spend 3 hours a week over there. Okay? So you put a little bit of time. You have to put some time, or you got to pay someone. But anyways, you bought an investment property. Now you have deductions, right? Now you have appreciation, hopefully, most of the time. Over the long run, you have appreciation. Hey, Sandy, thank you so much for watching us, right? You have depreciation. So for those of you that know, you know how important. Now, depreciation sounds like a bad word, right? Oh, that means it's going down. No, what we're talking about, just to give you, hey, Chris, thank you so much for watching. When we talk about depreciation in real estate, what we're really talking about is that each property, an investment property, has so many years of a useful life. And the government allows you, and there's a couple different methods, we're just going over the basics. The government allows you to deduct from your income a certain amount of depreciation because the property or the building, the structure is older. And that helps you by deducting money off of your income. That helps you pay less taxes. So you see, that's why it's so awesome to own investment property, especially if you have no other deductions, right? Especially if you have just a regular employee position, because you need to find a way to get deductions. Maybe it means starting up some other business, but real estate investments is usually one of the easiest ways to do it. And especially if you have someone like me who's willing, right, to show you the ropes, who's going to be available when you have questions. Now, I'm not going to give you the easy answers, right? I'm not going to give you the easy answers. I'm going to give you the answers of what I would do if I'm in your shoes. And believe me, when it comes to rentals, I'm no slouch, right? I love people. I love to be fair to people. I like to respect people. I like to treat them well. But if they don't do what they say they're going to do, and you know, every now and then somebody needs a little bit of help, right? But you got to try to interpret or get through the BS, right? And then you have to go by the rules. You see, because when it comes down to it, especially for investment properties, and maybe some of you know what I'm talking about tenants, right? And there's some great, awesome tenants. Believe me, I can name names of wonderful, awesome tenants, right? And then I can give names of people that made promises. Oh, I'm going to give you the money tomorrow. I'm going to give you money next week. I know, Rob, I just got this going on and that going on. And give you names of people that gave me lines of baloney, right? So over the years, after all these years, I kind of, for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, I've been able to interpret and get through the BS. So that's one of the things I can help you with. Maybe you're not sure about the process. Maybe you're not sure about the best way to filter out if this person's going to be a good tenant or not. Right? So there's so many different ways in which I can help you to get to that next point. All right, so we're going to be coming up on a noisy area. Right? Let me show you what we got going on here. All right. So, I mean, it doesn't look like much on the video, but it's pretty loud, and it looks like they're doing some work, whether it's for the town or the state. My guesstimate, it's for like a CLMP type of thing, right? To get the branches away from the power lines, but I could be wrong. But let's get through this, and then I'll get us back on track with our discussion items. Okay. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. You know the way a lot of us love this kind of thing, right? Like the whole construction. All right, looks like we got through that. Woo! I tell you, man, it's been a crazy morning. This walk to the gym, and then to remember at the last second to find out and remember that the gym is closed until 6 p.m. tonight. Then we stopped at John Fitch's birthplace. I mean, how awesome is that? Now we got construction behind us. Or, people actually probably not building something, but, cleaning up a lot here, trying to get these branches and trees away from some power lines. We got a lot going on. Now, one of the things that's cool, let me see if I can find it here. Okay. You see this field right here? Now, actually 2-3 days ago, this field had some crops. I'm pretty sure it was corn, but always in the back corner, I guess not always, but most of the time or a lot of times, I see deer over there, right? I see deer a lot of times in this back. It's kind of getting me a little nervous these days. I know you might be saying, come on, Rob, you nervous? I don't believe that. Well, get a little bit nervous here and there. So, one of the things I get a little nervous about, not so much in the daytime like this, but in the early morning or evening, when it's dark, sometimes I'm walking and there's woods. It's woods on both sides of the road. And it gets me to thinking, what if there's a bear? There's a bear in there just looking at me, chomping on his teeth, like, let's see there. You got an Italian just walking down the street there. Maybe I might go for him for dinner. I don't know. Gets me a little nervous. Anyways, let's keep on going. So we spoke about investing, right? We were speaking about the multi-families that I have available. So that one property that we were talking about, that you can probably gross about $42,000 a year gross, right? That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Because of the fact that you also have appreciation, right? You have all these tax deductions, you have depreciation, right? And you usually don't have to spend a lot of time if you do it right. Okay? Usually. Are there any guarantees for any of this stuff? Of course not. right? I don't want to get somebody calling me up. Well, you know, Rob, I tried that and I had a tenant that they were in there for 9 months and I couldn't get rid of them. Well, of course I hear those stories. But then I ask more questions. So if you have that story, I'll ask more questions. Like, okay, well, when did you start the eviction process? Well, you know, I waited a month because they said they were going to pay me, and then I waited another month, and they gave me half, and I took that, and then 2 weeks later, they gave me another 100, and then a month later. No, you don't do it that way, right? That's why you waited. Who did you use in court for a eviction attorney? Well, you know, I got this guy that he showed me how to do it on my own. Okay, so most of the time, the story goes on and on and on, right? Now, remember, I'm not anti-tenant. There's some great tenants, and if you're a tenant, hey, God bless you, I'm sure you're awesome, right? At the same time, be very straightforward with your tenants. If you're in Connecticut, and you are planning to stay in Connecticut for at least another 3 years, right? And you don't have some kind of awesome situation. Like there's people that are renting out houses for, you know, $1,200 a month. I mean, that's an awesome situation. I wouldn't move. But if you're paying like $2,000 a month and you have no inclination to leave the state, you got to get yourself a house. Right now, the interest rates just got a little bit lower. Right now, the state is still giving all kinds of programs. We have all kinds of mortgage programs, no money down, grant money, 0 interest loans. There's all kinds of different ones, right? And so we can sit down with you and talk with you about those. Now, you might have that father, that friend, that uncle. I'm blaming it on the guys. But you might have that person who's telling you, oh, I wouldn't buy a house right now. Prices are too high. All right, my friends. Well, where were prices 5 years ago? Where were prices 5 years before that? Where were prices 5 years before that? Okay, you missed out on a huge opportunity if that's the mind frame that you have. Do house prices go down sometimes? Yes, right? But unless you're Nostradamus, you're usually not going to be able to predict it, right? Unless you're Nostradamus, you're usually not going to be able to predict it. And every month when you're giving someone else $2,000 a month to live in their house, you're just helping them to build more wealth, not yourself. So you are missing out. And if you ever want to really debate it, we can. You know, I do have some of these guys. Well, you know, if I could make 12% in the stock market, you know, pay my rent and make 12% in the stock market and do this and this and this, then I'm actually making more money, Rob, right? There's long explanations about that. And what do you know that you're going to invest in that you're going to get 12% guaranteed? And if you have something 12% guaranteed, let me know. Shh, 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 shh. You know, we don't have to tell everybody, right? Let me know. Or let's tell everybody. Let's let everybody get the 12%. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell everybody. Why? You don't want to help anyone? Right? You don't want to help other people? It's only for you? Right? Because we're not in competition with each other. We're here to help each other. Right? It's not about getting ahead of your neighbor. It's about helping out your neighbor. Oh, man. Lots going on. Want to see another cool thing that I always love when I'm walking, since we're going on our total tour here today, or this is